Hey guys, so this is actually a repost of a video I did a while back, why Megatron should not be a gun, and that turned out to be a pretty controversial opinion, so I just want to take a moment to say that I stand behind everything I said. It's not that I don't like guns, I'm not Beta O'Rourke or anything, I just don't think that the almighty leader of the Decepticons should be a glorified target master. But anyways, enjoy the video and feel free to drop a comment if you disagree, so let's get started.
Alright, so a couple of weeks ago I got bored and started watching a bunch of reaction videos about the original Transformers the movie. I thought it would be fun to see people watching it who had only seen the live-action Michael Bay movies, but had never seen the original. One thing that became apparent very quickly and stood out more than anything else.
Whoa, he just turned into a gun?
So he just used him as a gun?
Into Megatron turned into a gun.
Oh my god. He turned into Starscream's gun.
He turns into a gun? How long has he been able to turn into a gun?
There are a lot of people who did not know that Megatron was originally a gun. A German Walther P-38 handgun to be exact, and a very realistic replica. Now, over the years, Megatron has started to move away from this design, and surely part of the reason for that would be the controversy of a realistic toy gun. Nowadays, with firearm paranoia, a toy gun can get you shot for real. Now, obviously, that's not a good thing, but if we're being honest, if you're buying a G1 Megatron, you're probably not a kid. Most likely, you're an adult who's still working through Megatron-induced childhood trauma. And we all know that the gun mode isn't the real problem here anyway. The good news is that the masterpiece version of G1 Megatron is much more cartoon accurate and has much better, shall we say, trigger discipline. Still, my issue with Gun Megatron has nothing to do with the toy and everything to do with the character. To explain, the Transformers toy line itself is actually an import of multiple Japanese toy lines, Diaclone and Microchange. Diaclone was the line of toys that produced the transforming vehicles. Optimus Prime, Ultra Magnus, all of the Autobot cars, the Decepticon jets, the Dinobots, and a lot more were all from Diaclone. Now, the other brand, Microchange, also did transforming robots, but instead of vehicles, these robots were household objects like cassette players and tapes, cameras, microscopes, and, yep, you guessed it, a handgun. This was also the toy line that gave us the smaller Autobots like Bumblebee and Cliffjumper. So the problem here is that you have one set of transforming robots that are all full-size vehicles and machines that are made for humans to get inside and pilot, and you have another line of transforming robots that are household products, things that a person can hold in their hand. So how do you create a TV series where all of these objects are comparable in size in robot mode? Mass shifting is the Transformers term that attempts to explain why a mini cassette player and an F-15 fighter jet can both be the same size when in robot mode. It explains why Starscream is taller than Astrotrain, but can also fit inside him in shuttle mode. Now, this is a flimsy explanation to say the least, but I can look past that in most cases, except when it comes to Megatron. Megatron is the most menacing and intimidating Decepticon of them all. He should never be tiny. He should never require another robot to hold him or touch his trigger. The mighty leader of the Decepticons is basically a glorified target master. It's actually pretty insane that Megatron would make himself so vulnerable when so many of his own people would try to take him out. Starscream at any point could have just thrown him on the ground and stomped him. Starscream is a 35,000-pound jet. He can easily smash a pistol. And even Shockwave, who also transforms into a gun, he never shrinks and he's capable of firing on his own. So I'm perfectly happy with Megatron's gun mode going away for something else. Now, I know that there are people out there that love the gun mode, but this is a case where change is good. The question now is, if not a gun, then what? Since G1, we've seen several different versions of Megatron. He's been a tank. He's been a spaceship. He's been a fighter jet. He's been a weird tank. He's been a weird spaceship. He's been a race car. He's been a truck. He's been a helicopter. He's been a Nissan, he's been green, and he's been Galvatron. Megatron was also a dinosaur too, but that's a totally different guy and a totally different story. But in any case, consistency is clearly not his strong point, especially compared to Optimus Prime, who's always a red truck, or Starscream, who's always a fighter jet, or Bumblebee, who's always a yellow car, except when they're not. Regardless, Megatron has never had a true, consistent alt mode. To me, the best version of Megatron would be one that represents his true power. The strength of the Decepticons has always been flight. They can fly faster and longer than the Autobots, who sometimes can't fly at all. There's that consistency again. Megatron's alt mode should be a jet, but he should be the biggest, most powerful jet. If Starscream is an F-15, Megatron should be an F-22. But that's not all. To demonstrate his superiority over other Decepticons, Megatron should be a triple changer. He should have a second alt mode. Tank mode would be perfect. And yeah, I'm basically describing Blitzwing, but I think that model suits Megatron perfectly. Or the Titan's Return version of Megatron, which is probably the best Megatron out there right now. I think a combination of those two models would make a perfect permanent alt mode for Megatron. But that's enough of what I think. What do you think? Hit me up in the comments and let me know what your ideas are. And that's all for today. I'll see you next time. And remember, winners don't use drugs.
Hey guys, that's it for this edition of Touch Grass. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe, but don't just sit and watch internet videos all day. You need to go outside and conquer life because you matter and you need to make every day matter. Now get off the internet and go touch grass.
Until we meet again!